Yep, smooth frames, bouncy avatar. Good. Oh, you can actually see your name on the screen now. So that's fun, huh? I should probably get one of those, what's it called? Layouts? Overlays, that's what it is. Anyway, Husk is a, like, unique character. I mean, not really unique, he's just kind of... Hi, Mom, I'm on the telly. Get out of here, or you can't do that to me, okay? British people aren't allowed. Anyway, the thing about Husk is that he's just a straight up furry. And, you know, he's come a long way since well, the earliest concepts when, like, Viv was in, like, about high school or so, right? But the main thing is that, like, I don't think I'm gonna try and go for something that would be able to animate very clearly. It's not really my goal for this one. It's more of a thought experiment, because the more that I stare at his new design, the more I like it, which is kind of a strange feeling, you know? I really need to ask people why they like certain things, because it's hard to really give input. Because I do like the concept behind his design and what's been revealed about his personality and that kind of thing. It leaves a lot of room for mysteries. It's very cool stuff. I'm a big fan of Hazbin. It's so fun, like, what's it called? I like its pilot, even though it has some flaws, that kind of thing. I'm not really doing this out of... none of my redesign videos are really meant to be malicious in any way. It's usually because I want to see characters from media I like, with a specific swing or spin on something, because currently I think the problem is that too many of the characters have similar palettes. That wouldn't be an issue, right? But they aren't really on a team per se. They all have something in common, typically, right? But not... like, most of them don't have similar goals at all. Like, it makes sense that there's a lot of red on Nifty and Husk, right? Because they are both under contract or a favor to Alistair and that kind of thing, right? But, like, it's kind of hard because Alistair's, like, main color that defines him is this red, and a lot of demons use red to signify that they're in hell. So, there's a few problems here and there, right? I'm just gonna focus on, like, when characters died, how they died, that kind of thing. It's not really much of a... like, what I would do if I were to run a said show, right? Because, honestly, if you want to make Husk easy to animate, just get rid of his wings. That's... I mean, but that kind of also removes the only interesting part of him. So, they're not going to do that. Though it's funny that you never see his lower half. But yeah, he's a washed-up magician, essentially. And that kind of plays into like who he is as a character. It's all pretty interesting, I think. Like, out of the characters that go to the hotel or like live at said hotel, the only one that you could really consider a has-been is Husk. That's kind of the point. Though, like, I'm excited to see what they do with characters, because we've got a lot of hints coming up for what'll be releasing, like, this summer. We don't know if it's going to be another short or anything like that, but yeah, getting back to, like, design problems. This is the Husk I made, like, off stream or whatever, right? But the main thing is that he looks too put together. I need him to look more like a mess. Because, I mean, he's not really supposed to be a very happy person. He doesn't like himself. He doesn't find his new form attractive in the slightest. So, I think that him wearing more clothes and that kind of thing would probably be something more in character for him to do. Though, I also could just be completely misreading him. We don't have that much to go off of for... I mean, there is quite a bit. We know quite a bit about him, but how he interacts with other people, like, compared to characters like Alistair and Angel Dust, right? They don't have the same levels of, like, personality just straight built into them, unless you, like, hear any of the supplemental materials. And, I mean, I don't think that it should be a requirement to have the supplements in order to get a full picture of their character. But that's kind of all we can get. Like the Instagram accounts and that kind of thing, which are very dubiously canon. It's sad that they had to stop that. It was fun. But yeah. Basically what I'm doing is, like, giving him a pretty similar but different palette, because he, like, the main thing is that, like, you can't put the entire cast in red and black, especially when you don't have that many differentiated body types. Well, I mean, you can, and it works, technically, because everyone has their own character in the way that they move, sure, right? But, it's all up in the air, you see. Alright. That's good. But let's see. We've got a lot from his entries, and, you know, I think the one thing that's, like, a little bit hard to tell is his age, because it's actually one of the most explicit ones we've gotten so far. Like, sure, we've gotten, like, absolute confirmation that a character like Nifty is, in fact, 22 years old at the time of her death, right? But, I think, like, Husk's, like, profile, name is, like, Barcat75, and it might be in reference to the time that he died, or it could also be, a reference to how old he was when he died. Because he's one of the older characters, not in terms of decade, but in terms of just life experience. And I think that's pretty cool. Ages have a lot to do with the general, like, plot structure and things of... Not so much plot structure, more, like, the relationships between people and that kind of thing is what drives these characters, especially in this world, because it's essentially, like, ever-changing, and that's cool. And also, I think that it's really, like, I really like what they did with, let's see, Sir Penchant's, and how he actually really hates soda, but he drinks it anyway because he thinks that's what cool young people do. And it is, like, it's wonderful, like, bits of character in which you can absolutely tell who they are just from, like, a few lines of dialogue or just, like, an action they do and that kind of thing. Like, I think it's just a little hard to, like, really grasp. But I think it's not difficult to grasp, but, you know. Right now, I'm just kind of going for, like, a really, like, messed up kind of suit look, because, I mean, like, Vegas performers never, unless you're, like, specifically a dancer, it's not really something you immediately go, oh yeah, that's what it is, right? Hazbin Hotel. Don't bring your captives here. But yeah, basically what I'm doing is trying to incorporate, like, the things we know about his life, along with the job he originally did, that kind of thing. Because I feel like, there's so much potential in all these characters, and also in, like, just stories in general about them trying to, like, succeed and that kind of thing. It's all, like, it's all there and ready, and I can see it. It's just that we don't know when it'll, like, be, what's it called? Acted on? Like, I don't know what promotional video it was, but, like, Husk talking about, like, the Vietnam War in, like, the worst way possible. Not in the way of, like, it was gory or whatever, just, like, in a really stupidly inaccurate way. Really, like, lifts me to that kind of character, you know? Like, I guess it's harder for introverted characters. It's like Husk here, because he doesn't really have that many lines of dialogue anyhow, right? But, like, we can tell that he's, like, some sort of, like, cheater and that kind of thing. How, like, he's a husk of his former self, essentially. That's his entire thing. I think the only thing that I dislike about this new design over here is the card ears. Though I'm not really quite sure what is it. I don't really know what would be better than suit ears, to be quite honest with you. But I'm gonna try. But yeah, haven't watched any Hazbin Hotel, but there are many LGBTQAR. Yeah, it's just nice, you know? Like, I'm excited for what they're gonna show, like, basically next year, right? Because, I mean, I think everyone's a little bit excited and that kind of thing. I recommend the pilot, though. The main thing that bothers me about it is the sound effects. Like, some of them fit really nicely, but others just kind of ruin jokes that would have been fine without them, that kind of thing. And I think that they've figured out their stride once they, like, worked on Hell of a Boss and that kind of thing. And, you know, even if, like, we don't really get much from A2 Pictures this year or whatever, it'll still be fun. The pilot? How are they flying in and out without... How much weed did you smoke before this stream, Golden? I won't tell you. Just, like, Mara will also know. Anyway, we don't actually know how Husk died, so that's fun. There's always, like, theories out there. I think it would be interesting if it, like, one of the predominating theories of he died of old age was true, that kind of thing. But there's just a lot of cool ways to write center backstories and that kind of thing. Like, because you're going through all different periods and they affect characters' lives in very different ways. And you can just see the, like, generational gap between characters. It's very interesting, I think. And you can, like, glean a lot from their appearance. Like, Nifty was definitely shot. Like, she's got those 3 very bullet-looking holes in her, and that immediately makes you intrigued. It's a good part of design. You know, you go, why is that there? So that's a case of important detail and that kind of thing. I haven't done any other a substance other than the amphetamine I've prescribed. Who's the... Well, yeah, that's Vaggie. Her full name's Vagatha or whatever. But yeah, she's really interesting too. Since she's actually one of the more recent characters to die or whatever. Like, her death date is specifically in 2014. And honestly, I'm glad that, like, in the promo code, well, the promo, like, tweets or whatever, we get a better understanding of, like, you know, why she's in hell, that kind of thing. But I do like the fact, like, it's hard to really gauge design, right? Because I would really enjoy a fluffy Vaggie. She's supposed to be a moth, right? But she doesn't really look quite like one. But the idea is that she looks more human because her struggles are more human or whatever. My face when she held hands before marriage, so she went to hell early. Yeah. It's always the damn hand holders. But yeah, I'm not quite sure. It's kind of fun to guess why, like, very normal looking sinners went to hell in the first place. Did the main character die while being in a mime clown performer or something? She has the kind of makeup. Charlie's a reference to vaudevillian actors and that kind of thing, but no, she's never been human. When she has never died either. She is entirely hellborn. She is literally the daughter of Lucifer and Lilith. So her, like, dull markings or whatever, they actually reflect what Lucifer looks like, actually. They're going for angelic Lucifer, which is honestly kind of fun. Though, I do want them to change Lilith's design. Not that much, mind you. I just want her to look more outwardly demon-y, I guess. Just like, I guess I just want big demon wife, okay? That's kind of like the extent of my thoughts. I don't have very many. Sorry about that. But yeah, like, her old last name is kind of supposed to rectify that too. Though I think that the 7 deadly sins are all based off of carnival workers and that kind of thing. Like, Mammon, the sin of greed, looks like a big gesture. And the sin of lust, Asmodeus, looks kind of like, well, a mix of a lion and a rooster, so it's pretty fun. But really, like, I like that Charlie in her new design, she keeps those kinds of things, right? But she also, like, embraces the red more. And I think that's a way of showing that she is, like, truly royalty in hell. She's not... I mean, like, I think that, like, a fully demon Charlie would be kind of funny. And they're probably gonna do it at some point, right? But her being the most human-looking character is kind of on brand, considering the fact that she's never actually committed a sin herself. She just kind of was born into this. Also, it's funny that demon ages are strange, yeah? Because I think it's more of sin ages or something like that. Don't really understand. Anyway, at the right here, these are the colors I want to work with. Because I do like the fact that Husk, for the most part, in his base version is pretty monochrome, right? But I feel like he should have something that's, like, his colors are specific to him and not specific to just being a demon or being, like Alistair's pawn, that kind of thing. But yeah, they don't use ages weird, right? Like, Charlie is 200 years old, but just take a 0 out, and that's her actual age, which is, like, in her 20s. I know what you mean by, like, hoping they don't use the ages weird thing, yeah. Because, I mean, that is a problem, but I don't think it's the thing that they're going for. Though I don't think I would have ever tested the live vampire year gamers. You know, it's just kind of, it is a little bit fun to watch people argue online about things like vampires and that shit, yeah. Because, I mean, as long as you're not doing it to sexualize, like, clearly minor-looking characters or whatever, then I don't really care. monsters really shouldn't have ages in the first place. It's kind of age, like that kind of concept feels better suited to like humanoid characters, like a werewolf before transforming, that kind of thing. I don't know. Let's see. Anyway, Husk is a really strange character. I mean, not really strange. I mean, he fits the setting perfectly. And honestly, I think that the idea of like him having rolled up sleeves is a funny idea, since he's actually canonically a, what's it called? A card cheat. He counts cards and that kind of thing and all that. So, I mean, if you know anything about gambling, and I know just enough, so, you know, I think that's a fun detail. But I don't think that Husk should look this put together. I mean, everyone has their own opinions on that kind of thing. They just need to pass the Harkness test. What the fuck is that? Google. Yeah. Yep. Checks out. But yeah, I mean, like, monsters are fun if they can also, like, communicate back to you in some way and aren't just, like, scary animal, but rather more of an alien type feeling, where you're both intelligent and that kind of thing. It's just that both of you have very different ways of looking at the world and that kind of thing. I think that's fun. Though, you know, it's kind of funny considering he's actually got one of the later death dates in the series. He died in 1970, and that's why I'm giving him bell bottoms and stuff like that, because I just can't help myself, okay? You said the word 70s to me, okay? That's your own fault. But, like, let's see. A lot of characters that look old, well, that act and feel younger, died, like, earlier than him, in some cases. Like, how Angel Dust died in, like, about, I believe it's 1947 he died, canonically. Which is nice, because we get, like, a very specific, like, year, that kind of thing. What was the spider's sin? It's not actually the first thing you would think when looking at Angel Dust, as surprising as that may be, right? It's not lust that got him there. It's the fact that, his family, and him used to be, like, part of a crime syndicate. Well, you know, a mafia family, essentially. Like, Angel Dust is a very interesting character, because, I mean, it really shows you what, like, someone that was really repressed at the time would do, like, at the immediate chance to indulge in their every worst, impulse and that kind of thing. Like, after he overdosed on PCP, he came to hell and also saw his brother and sister there and that kind of thing. Also his dad's there too. But like, being gay in, like, the 40s and 50s wasn't, fun. And so, Angel Dust had to kind of repress that for quite a while. And so when he got to Hell, he kind of just went crazy with all the things he could now do, now that societal pressure and that kind of thing had no, like, weight to him anymore, essentially. And that actually ended in him getting trapped in an even worse environment than he was to begin with, because now he's being taken advantage of and abused by a person that was supposed to be his liberator, that kind of thing. And, you know, I think that, like, there's just so many cool things you can do with, like, a lot of these characters. Like, how does, like, finding out that you got sent to hell affect how you behave? Because really, you aren't getting tortured in the story proper. Like, there's no, like, person, like, specifically for your torment or whatever. You just kind of get a new form and have to make it in a world where everyone else is confirmed to have also done something bad. So it tends to be a feedback loop of sorts, of people doing the things that they couldn't do or were doing, that kind of thing, before they went to hell, and just doing it more and worse. It's kind of an entire abusive cycle that the main character wants to, like, essentially help demons out of their ditch in that kind of sense. Like, she wants redemption for them all, because most of the time sinners die by the yearly exorcisms that take place. Also, it's pretty fun because Charlie's never actually seen a human, right? She's never interacted with what a human would normally look like. She's only ever interacted with that kind of things. They want rehabilitation and such, yeah. Yeah, Charlie sees humans as both a little bit with, like, rose-tinted glasses, as it were. She doesn't believe that they deserve this. And to a point, a lot of demons generally don't deserve what they do. Or, like, what people do to them, that kind of thing. You could see this with, like, how she fell in love with, like, Vaggie and that kind of thing, right? Like, just because people, like, use alcohol and other destructive things to cope with situations doesn't make the person themselves immediately responsible for their own torment. It's a cycle of abuse that won't ever stop unless she, like, other people and that kind of thing reach out and try and, you know, change for the better. Yeah. She wants to find out if the idea of redemption can be done, that kind of thing. Because, I mean, if you went to hell, right, kind of, I mean, we don't even really know what, like, qualifies you for the, like, being in hell in the first place. I mean, a lot of characters' actions immediately go, yeah, that makes sense why they're in hell, but some of them just don't. And I think that's going to be an interesting mystery for the show to continue with, I think. is like this god or whatever fair? What do they want out of humans? And that kind of thing. I think I'm just I'm a sucker for like ghost stories and things about like trying to do better and like different ways of abuse and that kind of thing. Like also like demons are just fucking cool, man. Okay? It's just fact of life. I don't... And I really do like the designs we already have and that kind of thing. This is just kind of for fun, mostly. Because I don't think that this Alistair would be... Alistair. I don't think this Husk would be any easier to animate. I think that he'd probably be worse, actually. Anyway. Wash... Like... The one thing, you do have the I can fix him on board. But it's valid. Yeah. I mean, like, canonical legends, like, canonical Runeterra Mordekaiser, zero hope for that guy. I mean, like, it would be interesting to see him be like a human or whatever, or at least like what he was like as a human. I think that those are valid concepts. But I mean, he's not really meant to be a human character. I've just decided to go, yeah. I think that characters are more fun when they have vulnerabilities, or like what, like, not even particularly good people do, but like what people do when they're pushed at their limits. Because I don't doubt that like Mordekaiser as a person was probably a fucking jerk, man. But you know, we don't get a clear idea of him. I mean, I do like... I think that's why I enjoy alternate universes in, like, specifically League of Legends. Because you can, let's see, you can really play around with that. Oh, also, how's my stream quality? I want to know, if... you know, you're experiencing any delays, because my stream actually has been going off pretty well. And, I mean, if it's good, oh, been good. Hell yeah. That means that, we'll have, like, less trouble with other things. Mord was a pile of green ectoplasm since he was born. I mean, like, when he was born again, yeah, sure. He was born, let's see, yeah, the saying goes for him is that he was slayed twice, it was born thrice, slayed twice. Yeah, that's what it is. And honestly, that guy can slay. But I think... the main idea, I like drawing him with Vhagar for, well, a lot of aesthetic reasons, right? But like, not all our relationships or like character dynamics have to be good or helpful to either character. I think it's that kind of thing. Twice slain, thrice born. There we are. I fucking love it. It is a really good line. But, like, when it comes to shipping and that kind of thing, I think that people take it over the line, that kind of thing. Because... But I think that I should probably be more clear when it comes to things like telling you more about, like, an abuser and their victim. Because, I mean, it's a really sore subject for a lot of people, and I get it. It's really hard to go through that kind of thing. But also, I think that characters having agency in their stories and that kind of thing is very compelling to me, specifically. Like, they didn't just wake up one day and someone decided to be mean to them, but, like, it doesn't even have to be, like, a person's fault in that kind of, like, grand scheme of things kind of deal. But, like, just in general of, like, both characters have more going on than just what they, like, what their current relationship is. Because, you know, people don't usually start off as enemies. So especially, like, I mean, if you had, like, a really bad introduction, then yeah, sure. But, you know. But, let's see. Like, I think the most popular, like, ship for, like, Angel Dust is Husk. And that kind of thing. And that's pretty cool. But, alright. This is a deep cut, but, like, for those who actually, like, have read the supplemental material and that kind of thing, then you'll know that Valentino, this big, scary, like, this, like, 10-foot tall moth guy with a pimp coat on, because he is a pimp, right? It's interesting how they write basically 2 storylines of abuse for one character, essentially. And it really shows you, like, how they treat people, how they manipulate people, that kind of thing. And, I mean, I get, like, that, you know, being an abusive piece of shit and that kind of thing in canon is one thing, right? But it's not like... What am I fucking saying right now? Let's see. Like, in, like, media, they don't have to always show, like, healthy relationships. Relationships are, like, one of those things that, like, can tend to really depend on a person and the people involved and all that kind of stuff. I would never, like, intentionally, like, ship them in a romantic way, but I think that the dynamic between those 2 characters is interesting, and having them interact in that kind of way, while it's also kind of heartbreaking because you care about at least one of those people in that scenario, right? It still is interesting to see how they were, like, taken advantage of, I guess. Because in good, like, plots, it's like that or whatever, you don't tend to... I always lose my train of thought. But, let's see. Just because someone's drawing two characters together doesn't mean they're automatically, like, a proprietor of those specific type of relationships. And I feel like that's hard to, like, really differentiate to people. Especially when it's, like, they can't really read it, like, an artist's mind or whatever, right? But still, like, I guess the way that you can view it is that, like, if you ask me if, like, Lulu and Tristana should get together in, like, a story or whatever, right? I'd say yes. But if you, like, asked me if Mordekaiser and Vhagar should be in a relationship, I'd say no. Like, especially, like, during main canon, like, no. Because, you know, it is absolutely toxic. But I think that having that specific, like, what's it called? Context to a character is incredibly interesting. Because it shapes the way that you see a character, right? Because you can take Vhagar's story of, like, being, like, used up and abused, and then trying his best to reclaim the respect that he once lost or whatever. You could see that as, like, you know, a jailer and his captor and that kind of relationship, sure. But you can also see it as, like, a story of getting better from, like, an awful place in your life, I guess. I mean, I don't think it's a very good idea if you wrote, like, funny Vhagar in that scene, because that's kind of just really cruel, but, like, having the context of, like, being, like, a domestic abuse survivor is a lot different than being just a prisoner to a guy that captured you, I guess is what I'm saying. Because you can very clearly define where, like, certain traits and behaviors could have come from and that kind of thing. And they just become more interesting with that way of interpreting a story, I guess. Both versions are valid, but I also think that kind of thing. Yeah, it gives more info than this person was just a captive person by X, that kind of thing. Yeah. I think that it all started with, like, Mordekaiser's voice lines. It's because it really shows you, like, how he feels about, like, the Noxian worsties, I guess, right? Like, he sees, like, LeBlanc as a little petty manipulator who he can easily just kind of brush off and be like, oh, your manipulations are just so petty, that kind of thing. And with Vladimir, his tone's completely different. It's one of, like, extreme rage. And with Vhagar, his tone is immediately recognizable as someone that's fond of another person. So, like, I don't think, like, the Stockholm Syndrome stuff is anywhere close to canon, but, like, the thing of, like, Mordekaiser thinking that he helped Vhagar in some way, or, like, that he still thinks of Vhagar in that specific way, is a very interesting, you know, character quirk of his. It makes him more human, I guess. Like, you can even, like, see that, like, their current designs are literally supposed to be mirrors of each other. It's not like I'm pulling this from out of nowhere. You know, I just want, like, a Vhagar response line, because that would really, really tell me what's going on with the situation, right? And, you know, I guess I just don't find just, oh, it's Sauron, and also this one day, Vhagar was happy, and then the next day he was not happy. And I don't think that it's, like, totally... It's not as black and white as I'm making it out to be, obviously. But it's... Characters are more fun when, you know, they... You know, what's it called? Give them more context to work around, and that kind of thing. Because otherwise you're kind of just stuck with a character's personality in the vague terms, right? Like, you can see this with, like, Poppy and Orlon or whatever, right? Sure, you can just be like, yeah, yes, Poppy is a Yordle that, like, is way too humble for her own good, and the hammer that she carries is for her, but she has no idea, right? And it's played for comedy quite a bit, and it's good comedy, right? But once you, like, actually connect the dots, you can piece together that Poppy's story isn't really so much about humbleness. I mean, it is, don't get me wrong, right? But it's not about humbleness quite as much. It's about grief. You know, she doesn't think that it belongs to her. She doesn't think that she can be anything more than this. Poppy probably knows full well that the hammer was probably meant for her, but she can't see herself as a hero. And I think that provides more interesting, like, a more interesting reflection of her character. Yordles are immortal beings, and they have to deal with death quite often, especially if they are, you know, in human fields and all that stuff, which most people are, right? So, seeing how each Yordle kind of deals with grief is one of the most interesting ways to write their characters. Like, you can see it in, like, Arcane with Heimerdinger. He's one of the most fleshed out characters and that kind of thing. Hello there, Caravan. It's very nice that you could actually make it to one of these streams, huh? And it's working for once in its goddamn life. So, hello there. Let's see. But, like, yeah. There's surface levels. Denial of admitting that she's the hero out of grief, and she probably doesn't want closure to the last mission that Orlon gave her. Yeah, that's one way to take it, yeah? Like, you can also see it as her just not thinking that she is much of one at all, especially when she couldn't even do something as simple as save a human's life. You know? There's lots of ways that you can interpret it. The thing about, like Yordle pasts, especially characters that don't have many color stories, is that you tend to get gaps in, their backstories and stuff like that. And you can, like, really play around with it. But yeah, like, but you can make characters much more interesting if you provide context to them. And I think that's the main idea behind this whole thing, is that, do I want, like, or even really condone, like, the idea of, like, Mordekaiser and Vhagar getting into a relationship? No, not really. The idea is more of, like, I think it's a much more powerful character arc for Vhagar to, like, try and own, like, what was done to him when he was abused, that kind of thing. Him getting into a better community of people that actually care for him, but he's way too scared to show that affection back for the fear of being hurt again. So, yeah, I think that's, I think that context with characters is just way more fun. But also I'm a nerd who likes to really overanalyze, like, shows and situations of my favorite characters. Because, I mean, I do like joke characters. It's just that, you can't ramble about one for, like, 8 hours. Like, once you explain the joke, it's kind of gone, essentially. And for Yordles, they tend to act like joke characters, but they tend to have also really expansive and honestly depressing backstories. Besides, like, Teemo and Rumble and Corki, who have zero lore. But, yeah. Just use my dism for reading 2 hours straight on random lore character. I mean, that's what everyone does, right? God. I can't believe that no one told me that kind of thing. Like a Warhammer 40k Primarch who's kind of like the Xin Zhao of the Imperium. I should probably look up. I'm not even sure what genre of game Warhammer is. It's probably a first-person shooter, but it's kind of like saying, oh yeah, Mass Effect's a first-person shooter. No, it isn't. I'm not much of a gamer. I like games. I'm just not very good at them. But I guess you don't really have to be good at games to be a gamer. You just have to be, like, not that kind of thing. Mass Effect's a dating sim, obviously. I mean, it basically is. So if you, like, really think about it. If you think about it, like, for, like, 2.5 seconds, it immediately becomes clear. Tabletop game where people do model battles. I don't do anything other than having a few cute models around. It's just absolutely enormous lore. I fucking love lore too. But, wow, a tabletop game, huh? It's not actually what I would think. Do you mean tabletop in terms of, like, you know, D&D? Or are you talking about, like, RTSs, like StarCraft? Because those are two different things, and I don't... I don't have any context. Anyway, sorry guys for, like, being less hyperfixated on League. I think, like, if there were to be, like a large update to, what's it, LOR or whatever, I think I'd be immediately pulled back in. But, you know. Honestly, I'd struggle between wanting skins and wanting dice. People roll dice and have their measuring equipment and have codex books for abilities and such. And they move models around a table. So, okay, yes, it is. It's like Dungeons and Dragons. Pretty nice. Me when I come around with my art. Hey guys, I know you missed me. Have this drawing I spent like about, I don't know, 2 hours on. Love you. Love, peace. I'm glad that this is working good. I don't even think that most of you understand this. Okay, yeah, it is an RTS in real life. Okay. I've never actually played StarCraft. But, I mean, those games aren't for me. I like point and clicks. It's way more. Do each day be like, is that the bite of 87? Sometimes. Listen, okay, guys, I can't... I escaped it for, like, a good many years, even though I wasn't really clear. I've always watched game theory, because I love over-explanations of things that probably didn't have that much meaning in the first place. But, guys, I'm sorry, I'll draw sexier robots if you want. Hey guys, what do you want? Is it League? No, I can't give you that right now. Sorry. You know, sometimes, well, most of the time, hyperfixations just kind of jump on you. Would you like Vagar? I'll give you Vagar in, like, I don't know, like 4 days. I draw every day, so it's not like it's uncommon, right? And, I mean, I do want to branch out, because, I mean, I think everyone has different, like, more interests than just one specific game. I mean, I don't know. I'm not in your head. But, like, I've got a bunch of, like, ideas for this coming thing, right? Yeah? So, I'm doing that Redux based on the poll you guys did. Start tapping into that FGC art clout. Listen, guys. I appreciate when you like when there's like at least like 6 lights on a post, man. I think it's a more like a case of things. Make a silly Bridget and you might just get 1 million shares from trans people. I could do that. I mean, Bridget is such a cute design, honestly. Fucking based. Is this the beginning of the IA art arc? Are you trying? Maro, I am not a real person. I'm all in your head. I've never been real, actually. But yeah, we're gonna do a horror game, like, coming up. I'm not actually very... I like gory things, I like Saw movies and all that stuff, right? But I fucking suck at horror games. So, I mean, I think that'll be funny to watch, at least. I'm using the free Freddy's game because I don't want to spend that much money. Anyway, back to Hazbin Hotel. Oh my god, I have an Ezreal meme. You've been in a coma for years. This is your wife trying to contact you. Send that over, man. I'd like to see it. But yeah, people don't have, like, one interest for, like, the rest of their lives. And, you know, I feel a little bit bad for people that, like, come to my, like, page for, like, specifically Yordle art and that kind of thing, right? But also at the same time, I really can't be bothered to cage myself into one form of art for, like, ages, right? Like, it's not that I stopped liking them or whatever, it's just that after a certain point, you know, there isn't that much to draw. And, you know, that kind of thing. Okay, I'll DM it on Twitter. Thank you. When you gain that interest, either when you're 5, 9, 14, or 17. And it's all over. Well, I've passed the threshold, so we're past the point of no return, boys. Though I think that it's better to, like, I guess, curate a community that's there for your art rather than for just specifically fan art of something specific. Because, I mean, like, I'll probably draw more of that thing that you like, right? But, you know, unless you, like, commission me or whatever, I'm doing it for free. Nah, you just keep getting Garangi interests, IMO. I'm like, you know, I like this property. I've liked it for, like, a couple years or whatever, and then I'm sitting here with, like, a full fucking gallery full of art pieces I want to do. Like, there's tons of shows and, like, IPs that I, like, really enjoy and, like interacting with, like, in, like, kind of a lurker level, but I've just never drawn them for one reason or another. And, you know, I think that might be a healthier way to consume media, but it's not the way that I do. Anyway, look forward to more, I guess, robot art on your fucking timeline. Sorry, not sorry. a character can show up for one frame in a spin-off phone game and it would become an interest. That's exactly what happened. Golden, please stop being in my mind rent-free. It's not cool. It's not cute. Alright, I'm not, like, in the mood for your roommates up in there. Because, yes. So I'm like, wow. This character is so cool. I'm sure whatever property they come from is great and would never like shout this specific character aside for like zero reason, and then I look at Vagar and I go, hello there, Skrunkly. I mean, considering like what characters like Kled and other Yordles have to go through, I don't have it that bad, right? But still, that doesn't mean that I still don't want that precious ASU. Like, Ari, like, that makes sense, right? And I'm happy for Aurelian, right? But, you know, it's not gonna be something that blows my mind. Something that will blow my mind, however, is if, what's it called? Like, new promo images come out for, well, I guess more redesign images for, Hazbin Hotel come out. Because they're still missing a couple members of the cast. And, you know, maybe it's just that they don't want to reveal them before the episode they appear in comes out, but, like, come on. I would, like, totally I would really like if they gave me some Baxter fan art, because I don't know what it is, but, like, I'm like, this directly appeals to me, specifically. And it's a character that's not had any dialogue, literally at all. And I'm like, wow. Hey there, baby girl. Though I should probably draw John Arbuckle. He and baby girl. Let's see. I took most of these colors over here from, what's it? Bruno Mars's, like, one of his most recent videos, Smoking Out the Window. Mostly because I'm like, yep, that's the kind of cheese I kind of want within this design. Because, you know, I kind of want him to look a little vintage. Hazbin Hotel has a lot of characters with red and black in their design, which makes sense, right? You're in hell, right? Those are very demon colors, obviously, right? But also, on the other hand, you don't need to, like, it also becomes a lot of white noise very quickly. And I can see that they're, like, tuning back certain things, and they're making colors more, like, specific to characters and that kind of thing. Like, it's probably going to be that, like, employees of the hotel have red in their designs mostly to mirror Charlie's design. I mean, she is, like, a ruler of hell and all that stuff, right? But, like, characters that are, like, visitors slash patrons of the hotel will not have that going on, right? Oh no, give me a S. Alright, yeah. There's not really much to criticize. Unlike with my, like, League redesign videos, it's hard to, like, really poke and pick apart, like, certain aspects of characters or whatever, because you have almost nothing to go off of, but you also are dealing with like an actual artist. And that's not to say that League doesn't have like actual artists. It's just that a lot of the characters I discuss here tended to be from specifically 2009, and were based off of any trope that they could get their grubby little hands on, right? So the problem there was that we had a bit too much design, what's that kind of thing. Misfortune was not designed by an artist, yeah. But she got better, and, like, you can tell when they, like, actually started hiring artists, because Misfortune actually looks like a character now, instead of, like, a stupid fucking Halloween costume, right? But yeah, you can tell when, like, there was an artist involved, like, anyone with, with, like, eyes, but yeah. By gamers, for gamers. Yeah. Hey, Doc. But yeah, I mean, like, you can tell what they were trying to do in both cases, right? Like, Husk's design, his current one, this one, like, at first I was like, alright, but it's not awful, is the thing, right? And the more that I have looked at this design, the more that I've become, like, more fond to it, and that kind of thing, but that's not the case with League of Legends characters, right? And it's mostly because you can tell the amount of artistic intent behind something, you know? Also, I mean, one's now like a $1 billion company and one's an indie project. That's like basically like a creator's baby, right? Though, like, everyone has their own specific style and quirks to them, and they don't have, what's it called? Old lore, that kind of thing. Let's see. Shout out to that one Vizzy music animation video for Kesha back in the day. Yeah, that shit was sick. Like, it's got more views than actually the music video itself. Pretty, like, it's like talent, yeah? Also, like, you can tell that, like, they really, like, gave a shit, you know? With League, it feels much more like what's stopping character design from becoming fun and interesting and, you know, actually unique or whatever, right? Is, you know, what's it called? It's a, I can't tell. But yeah, the Die Young music video, it really, that shit was fucking out of that world, man. I was so, yeah. it can feel quite corporate. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, for, like, as much as, like, Hazbin has, like, a very big following and that kind of thing, you have to still remember that they aren't really, like, a company at the end of the day. I mean, they are, and they have really fun t-shirts and all that, right? But you can't compare that to, like, corporate interests and multiple censors and that kind of thing from getting in the way of things like representation or, like, having a female character look a certain way, that kind of thing. Or, like, even just having splash arts that aren't specifically, like, targeted towards men. That kind of thing. My screen mirroring software's not having fun with me. But yeah. So, like, the reason why, like, design features in one thing and in another thing are very completely different, essentially. You can tell that, like, the way that, like, characters smile and like, the way that they're proportioned, well, number one, it's because, you know, it's an animation and not a video game, and they have two different forms of communicating in different forms of visual language, but we're also talking about, like, what's it called? Like, art styles and that kind of thing. Like, you can very clearly tell what's, like, a product of this and what isn't. And, I mean, it makes it a little hard, because, of course, there's, like, the whole there's only so many ways you can like, draw something without it looking a specific way, and you might be like, that's an artist problem, right? But it's more of a consistency thing. Once you're working with multiple people, you kind of need to have certain things not disappear within the telephone and that kind of thing. But with, like, lead characters specifically, it kind of feels like they've got a bunch of people doing certain things all at the same time, right? And it's let's see. I'm trying to get the thing back up. Sorry if you wanted to see the drawing fully, but I'm trying my best here. Technical difficulties and all. I'm such an expert with having my stream be consistent and having it not crash on me. Honestly, like, it's doing better than I thought it would be doing. Let's see. But, let's see. There's a lot to be like observed when it comes to, like, what let's see, how people value specific traits, that kind of things. Yeah, you can ask something. Who are the characters in the background? Oh, I just made them up. They don't really... they aren't from any specific video game, if that's what you're asking. I just made up a bunch of different nudibranches or whatever, because that's what my persona is. Because I wanted to have more than one, I guess, yeah. So that's kind of what it is. Though maybe I should, like, when it comes to art like this, right, I go, yeah, this is nice, right, but I also kind of want to change it immediately. They're cute, and the background feels pretty. Thank you. I was trying a little bit. I think about it, and I think, what's it called? Okay. Well, I don't know what that did, but sure. Sorry, what? It's always like one thing goes right, 50 things it's go wrong. I think that's just kind of how life goes, I guess. I'm gonna do this, but let's see. I think it understood. Let's see. But like, when it comes to passion projects like Amori or in this case Hazbin Hotel, I can't feel the same amount of what's it called? Disappointment? No. But like, you know, when a corporation does something, like if Blizzard does something or whatever, right? You can tend to, like, I can feel more mad at certain things than others. So like if Blizzard delivers a bad product or whatever, I have more obligation or whatever, not obligation, but more like, I guess, leeway in how I see something, you know? Because there's a difference between, you know, an artist doing something that they care about and have been wanting to do since forever, something that most of us dream about, I feel, and just like a company that really only cares about art if it makes them a profit. And maybe that's an unmarketable way of looking at things, right? But it's Let's see. Let's see. At the end of the day, if characters that you've, like, put, like, so much time and effort into, and, like, you're finally getting, like, the chance to show it off to, like, a large group of people, I feel like it's a bit, let's see, like, raining on their parade, because, I think the, like, thing to take from this is that, you know, unless you're being, like, really, like, an asshole to everyone, like, artists in general should, you know, hype each other up. It's a better way of, like, looking at things. Not everything's a competition. I mean, I feel like with, like, this kind of title or whatever, I'm setting a bad precedent, but I just don't know what a better word than, like, redesigning is for something like this, I guess. Because it's not like I hate Husk's design or Alistair's or really anyone's design in, like, a Hazbin hotel. It's more a thing of, like, I think that the concepts that they have are cool, and I want to do, like, my own take or rendition on it to see how I would have designed a character or whatever, given the same prompts. Because, this shit's hard, man. Like, I feel like it's really easy to write off people's accomplishments and, like, general, like, workflow. I know that, like, a lot of consumers tend to view art as, like, a commodity, not even really a commodity, but something that you just keep consuming and consuming. And, sure, that can be the case, but at the end of the day, it's someone's, you know, passion. It's someone's, like, real thoughts and emotions going into something. And I guess it's easier when there's, like, not a face or voice attached to something, or once something becomes real popular. But, all the same, it's not like if I suddenly got a show overnight, or whatever, like, what would I want? I would know that there would be lots of criticism and stuff like that, sure. You're making a product at the end of the day that's going to be consumed from people that are not you. And, I think that every artist has to deal with that on their own level, right? And it's interesting to see how, like, what people do with it, I guess. Because, it's just a little hard out here for artists. It's always been hard, it's just that it just feels like it keeps getting harder every fucking day for some reason. Like, I don't understand. I think it's the fact that, like, people just don't respect what's going on, or, like, really, like, the craft that goes behind art, all the, like, time and effort that you take on something, right? Because to them, it's not about that. It's about, like how much you can make. It's how much of this one thing can you continue to make. And I mean, you can... What the fuck? But yeah, I mean, and that's the difference between it. Maybe reimagining is a little closer to redesigning or something. Yeah, I think that might be better. I don't know. It's just, like, I don't want to come off as pretentious, because that's not really my goal in these videos. I mean, like, a joke as I may, it's not really, like, a thing about, like, being better than someone. I don't think that I'm, like, the be-all, end-all of, like, designs. I tend to hate what I make almost immediately after, you know? It's... You know, like, that's why I didn't use the word fixing in any of these titles, right? Because that's not what I'm trying to do. I mean, like, sure, like, characters that haven't been touched in, like, decades or whatever, sure. I mean, I can have more fun with that. But with, like, products of love, you know, labors of love, it's a little different. And, I mean, I don't think that... But, like, I feel like reimagining might be a little bit... Like, I'm just trying to imagine, like... I guess the main thing is, right, that, like, people that are outside of my, like, I don't know, 30 or so followers, like, my audience... can, you know, understand this, right? Like, you have seen, like, the type of art I do, that kind of thing, right? But someone stumbling on this will not have the same context. And a lot of the time, they won't be very charitable with it. And, I mean... And I get it, right? I guess I should... No drip Ziggs on screen, unfollowing. Where is Boof Ziggs? I can't find... I found him. He was invisible this entire time. Yeah, let me put that back up for you. It's... This is how the stream will be, guys. It's great now. Perfect stream, 10 out of 10. Nothing happened, ever. And if I ever had internet problems, no, I didn't. I think what I want to do for, like, coming up, like, with videos and that kind of thing is that I want to express my love for, like, characters and, like, their designs and that kind of thing. I mean, obviously, I want to be... Like, I'm gonna still criticize it, obviously, because, I mean, if I thought they were, like, if they were really living up to that kind of things. Yeah, you can't change how people interpret it. That's kind of exactly the point. That's why, like, I don't think that, like, calling this, like, a reimagining would quell people's, like... understanding of it, because it's not like they're gonna be like, oh yes, I understand now, that's completely valid meta, that's exact... They're not gonna do that. But, you know, like coming up, I want to be more, like, actually, what's it called? Like, grateful? Not grateful, but, like, appreciative of, like, the the fandom and the characters I, do more of, because, I mean, it's, like, a lot of the stuff that I want to do aren't of characters that, like, I haven't had any time to really get to know or anything like that. A lot of them are, like, they've been there since a very early time in my life, and I want to, like, show how, like, maybe I would have done it had I been in that scenario. I just think that people, like, there's just a little bit too much negativity in the world, I guess. And, I mean, it's not like I'm gonna be, like, a saint or whatever. I'm still gonna be, like, kind of an asshole, I guess. But, I want, like, people to understand that I really like it. Fan art is a good is kind of good as a description on its own. Yeah, I mean, that's true. I could probably work with that a lot better, I think. But people kind of like, there's not really a perfect solution. But, like, coming up, I just want to be, like, more, like, I guess have more fun than what I was doing. Because, I mean, now that I've got, like, the system basically set up how I want it to and that kind of thing, and I'm gonna branch out and that kind of thing, I don't want people to view the series as, like, some stupid ass artists, like shouting off their opinions for, like, a good however fucking long this stream is. Because I cannot edit to save my goddamn life. But, like, the idea is more of a thing of, I just enjoy things. And I don't want other people to feel bad for enjoying things either, because, like, at the end of the day, as long as it's not, like, fucking creepy or whatever, then it really doesn't goddamn matter, Like, oh, you like this, like, thing? Well, I don't like this thing, so that means you're wrong. And, I mean, people, like, especially in this fandom, can get defensive very easily. How dare you enjoy things? Oh yeah, how dare I? But yeah, like, the idea is that if it's not, like, a company, like, that I'm specifically roasting, like Blizzard or Riot or that kind of thing, it's mostly just gonna be me, like, sharing anecdotes about, like, I think that this would kind of be cool for him. This is a way that I think that if you were to, like, go full, like, 70s with this character, then this is kind of how that would look. But, I mean, it's hard to put that all into words, and I probably need to make a script or something. You might not roast them, but we will. Thank you, guys. You're the main source of entertainment this stream. Come for drawings. Stay for weirdly mean chat. No. You guys are fucking angels compared to some other chats that we will not talk about, but me. The fact that I have, like, any following, like, literally any at all, is just kind of nice. I don't know. I never thought it would get to this point. And I'm not even really successful in the traditional, like, sense of the word or whatever. But it's just nice. I don't even know how, like, you really view me or whatever, that kind of thing. I think this is a nice time to talk about more. Okay, what, Maro, what the fuck is your opinion on that? Okay, because we did have a charity stream a little while back, where not one of my chatters, but one of my friends' chatters, had, lovely things to say about, said topic. Though, weirdly enough, that was quite a bit of, what's it called? Like, as a child scrolling on the internet, like, the first immediate thing was war, actually. I don't know how I got there, but yeah. Is a pot filled with the remains of fallen soldiers? None. I was just laughing my ass the other day on that chat. It was really funny. I mean, like, it's kind of the main thing about it all. When it comes to friends, I'm way more, I guess, energetic. Chaotic's the better word for it, but energetic makes it sound less like I need serious attention. But, yeah. Let's see. Like, the main thing is, like, I want to stream more with my friends, obviously, because, I mean, this chat and their chat are a little bit different in terms of bestial quality, but that doesn't mean it's any less funny when you guys interact. And let's see. Also, there's a thing of, like, you're not really coming here for, like, specific characters or whatever. And the beast, what now? I completely forgot what I was saying just a moment before. If someone clipped it, then sure, go for it, but right, I'm not really, my memory is surprisingly short. I mean, it's short for, like, most things, but, like, other things, I'm like, they're like demons that haunt me. Like, I can remember character names and lore very easily. It's, like, a little bit annoying, that kind of thing. But when it comes to, like, remembering what I said, like, just 2 seconds ago, no idea. Could not tell you. So, sorry. But, you know, I think that it's more fun to branch out, because, I mean, like, art stream fun, but also they can be finicky and that kind of thing. So, I'm definitely gonna do I don't know when. It's probably just gonna be, like, when I figure out how to work a capture card. But, we're gonna do that, like, that story mode. And you can all watch me as I learn the mechanics of Splatoon 3 after not playing Splatoon 2. Because I just didn't... What was the console that came out on, anyhow? The squid art. It's like that meme where the character lore is written like words chiseled onto fine limestone while the immediate solution is drawn on the sand. I don't know if you have ADHD or executive function disorder, but one of the most common things is it's worse with working memory, like brain RAM. So losing thoughts, like tasks or where you were about to do, isn't uncommon. I haven't been diagnosed with that. I might have it, but as of right now, no. It took me like ages for me to even like get diagnosed as, autistic. So I don't, if I like have it or whatever, I don't think it's probably going to be quite a while before I figure that one out. Though it's kind of hard to know if that like coincides with my specific flavor of flaunt stick, or if it's just a thing of I don't know, being the way I am. I don't know. Vegas performers is such like a vague category. I'm trying to like match it kind of correctly, but it's not like I can do it all the way. Either way, it's more just not thinking of it as a personal character flaw. Yeah, I get what you mean. Like, cause as much as it like kind of annoys me, it's not really like that big. It's not a problem for me. It's not something like where I've forgotten something extremely important or whatever. Because I write stuff down. I write stuff down quite a bit. It's kind of how I keep track of things. So typically, like, that's how I like to order my life. Though I do need to get a new planner, because my current one does not have the next year on it. So, that'll be something to do for New Year's. Are you guys doing anything special? I mean, I've heard of New Year's parties, but I've never actually heard of anyone, like, actually attending one that they liked. And, I think that, like, any time that it's, like, actually fun, it's just with, like, maybe, like, a couple of your friends, not like a party. It's really commercialized for being like one specific night. But I guess, like, there's no depths that capitalism will not sink to, let me tell you that. It's very funny, but also it's sad. My family just makes it easy to grab food like sliced veggies and dip that into salsa and stuff. Oh yeah, I totally forgot to tell you guys. I made chestnut pie. I would have showed it to you, but like it was somehow it had like condensed into the most thick like I can't even really tell you what it really was, because it tasted good, don't get me wrong. It didn't really look all that well though. I'll give you the analogy. It's kind of like if you like compressed like peanut butter like with what's it called, an industrial like press. Like if you like really like squeeze peanut butter into like the shape of a pie, like really close together, which is funny because I'm allergic to peanut butter, but these are chestnuts I'm talking about, right? But yeah, I'll send you some tomorrow. What's your address? Don't worry, I have your IP. No. Silly people, silly, silly people. I think I want to make concha. Maro. Oh yeah, Maro. What's the unique pizza chain only available in your area? Yeah, we're just having just a little friendly conversation, a little thing, you know. Though, remember, chat, I'm always in your walls. So you may think that I don't live in the specific country you're from, or even in the same town, but that is wrong. I'm everywhere, all at once. And you will get jump scared by the FNAF at Freddy's fan art, because I'm not stopping. No pizza chain here. Only dust. There used to be pizza chains in my specific neck of the woods, but they got blown up by a hurricane. If you live inside the walls, I hope you like mold and ice. Yeah, those are my two favorite things in the world, you know. I'm right there in your drywall, right next to the insulation. Fiberglass is fun, because it looks like cotton candy, but it does not taste like cotton candy, which is, like, such bullshit. Like, why does everything that, like, looks, like, fluffy and, like, comfortable to, like, eat or, like, lay on? Like, what? It really does taste that good. Well, I mean, I don't actually really like cotton candy all that much. But, like, the condensed cotton candy is the flavor I'm thinking of. Like, the kind that's, like, used in artificial flavoring. Or in toothpaste. When you get to, yeah, your gums cleaned. But yeah, like clouds, snow, cotton candy, they look like it's adjacent to bubblegum flavor. It's close to that thing. Oh, same thing for molten iron blacksmiths have. That's the forbidden taffy, man. Like, that looks so yummy. Why can't I eat it? Why can't I lay on it? Yeah, it looks like caramel, man. Like, if it weren't for the laws of my mouth being sensitive to heat, then yeah. I hate cotton candy with a passion. It's so messy to eat. I mean, yeah, like, that's kind of a thing with, like, all fair food. But, like, my favorite way to eat, like, funnel cake, specifically, is funnel fries, where they don't actually make a cake. They just put the batter in strips or whatever, and you eat them like French fries. Way more effective than whatever the fuck they're going on about. Because, like, I don't want to be carrying a fork and a knife while I'm at a fair, okay? Like, that's just kind of, like, bullshit. Like, what the fuck am I supposed to do, man? But, like, let's see. What I'm talking about is, like, snow and, like, clouds and cotton candy. They, like, look good to eat / like, sleep on, right? But they aren't. Like clouds, like, when you actually feel them, which was, like, early in my childhood, so I didn't have to, like, embarrass myself any longer by liking them anymore. But, like, clouds, they don't feel like fluffy things at all. They're just fucking water. And that's a damn shame. Damn shame. What the fuck? I know they're made out of water vapor, but, like, come on. It should really feel like cotton. But yeah. Funnel cake, godlike. I could have actually taken a picture of the snow that was out here, but now it's all melted. I'm happy that it's gotten warmer again. Because, I mean, like, while I do like cold weather, I don't really like really cold weather, so. I'm glad that's over with. I'm not really too sure, like, when you're at a fair, like, the only thing that I really want to get is funnel cake. Like, caramel and kettle corn just don't, like, the thing about it, right, is that popcorn just fucking sucks. Like, it gets into your gums, and, like, I mean, like, it's nice and crunchy or whatever, right, but I think that the best kind of thing is... We're having a problem here. Like, I like, bagged popcorn. Like, when they do the, like, caramel corn mixed with the cheddar corn, like, that's crack. I can't have it. Because I will just, like, immediately relapse into, like, a point of no return, right? But, like, fair, like, movie popcorn and, like, fair popcorn are two very different things. Like, movie popcorn is, like, drowned in butter. Like, to a ridiculous extent. And it, like, tastes good, because butter tastes good, okay? But, like, fairground popcorn, it tastes like it has been burnt, like, several times over. But yeah, butter go hard. Like, also, it's just kind of lame to get it at a fair. Like, there's so many other, like, options when you go to a fair, you know, that it feels like you're kind of wasting money by getting it, you know? Popcorn is better when it's crunchy, not squinchy. Yeah. I like when it has, like, that nice, thing. The worst of all time is caramel apple. Yeah, that's fair. Let's see. Caramel apples, like, they look like a... Oh, you made a joke. Yes, you did. But, yeah, let's see. Caramel apples, they're mid. Like, I would never go out of my way to purchase one ever. I don't know why anyone would, to be honest. Like, they are incredibly uneasy. Like, how are you supposed to eat a caramel apple? And, like, the obvious answer is to just bite into it, but, like, a lot of the time the caramel, you know, hardens up to the point where, like, if you take a bite, either, like, the caramel won't budge, the caramel will crack and break and get everywhere, and you won't have any more caramel on your apple, and now you're stuck with a fucking apple, right? Or, like, third option, it's fresh caramel, and it's, like, hot and nice. That's never happened to me, but, like, that's the dream of a caramel apple, right? And the apple will destroy you. You know, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not that worried. Let's see. It's cold. I don't want caramel pulling out my teeth out of socket unless there's space. Oh, Space Crisp apples. What the fuck? They're not Space Crisp apples. I know what the fuck you're talking about. Cosmic Crisp. Those shit. That rocks hard. If you haven't had a Cosmic Crisp, I'm sorry you've missed out your entire life. You might not have even realized that was a thing or an option until just now, but they're good. They can even last in your fridge for like up to a year. And like it's actually true. I like had one for like a while and I just kind of took bites out of it for like weeks on end and it never got bad, which is amazing, honestly. Because I don't really ever want, like, a full apple at once. Like, that's just, like, a lot of apple, you know? But yeah, you were close enough, Marl. Don't beat yourself up over it. Let's see. Cosmic Crisp Hack Exploits Season 13 still works. What the... If you have it at your local grocery store, then I suggest picking it up because it's good. Eat Cosmic Crisp Apple. Not affiliated by the Crips in any way. Let's see. I have my music in, like, on shuffle, but you would never have realized that. Can I ask Cosmic Crisp for a brand affiliation deal? What, on my behalf? What are you trying to do, man? I don't want to play Valorant. This is a first-person shooter game. I don't want to play that. I don't think